I am a passenger. I am moving through your dreams. All your dreams. And you never knew.
How's it going, my fellow Endless? Today is a very good day, and I was kind of waiting for it because I may have heard a thing or two, but today is the day we've got some brand new news on Netflix's upcoming series, The Sandman. And we've got the casting. We finally know who Morpheus is. We know who Lucifer is. And it just feels so great to finally speak about The Sandman again, because I haven't made a video since I made the What We Know So Far about The Sandman, which I still definitely recommend checking out because I go over Neil Gaiman's comments about how it's a modern piece in terms of how that's different from the comic book version subtly. I mean, of course, this is an adaptation at the end of the day, but I also will probably refresh some of those details for some of the newer viewers on this channel, or maybe newer people who have only just found out that The Sandman is coming to a live action show. So stick around for that in the video, but let's actually get on to this straight away. I don't want to drag this out. So long story short, the fandom has been waiting for some kind of casting announcements for the longest time. I believe they started filming around fall last year, around October-ish time, and they could have released this ages ago, but they've been waiting, and we haven't got the full cast right now. For example, we don't know who Death is still, and sorry if I'm talking a million miles per hour right now, I'm just really pumped up. But it begins. Tom Sturridge is Dream, Lord of Dreaming. Now, if you watched my previous video, or if you've just been kind of in the loop and in the know of The Sandman, you would have known that Tom Sturridge has been rumored to play Dream, and like they tapped him for that role a long time ago. I believe I even spoke about him in my October Everything We Know So Far video. Now, admittedly, I haven't seen him in a bunch of things, but one thing I will say is I think he's a very good casting in terms of appearance. As far as like the research that I've done, his acting chops seem decent enough, obviously. I don't think Neil Gaiman and his creative input into this show, which he does have quite a bit of, believe it or not, that they would risk casting somebody who wouldn't be good to play Morpheus/Dream. Neil also said on his Twitter, so Morpheus, aka Dream of the Endless, is Tom Sturridge. Let's just say that he's perfect for the role. And I don't know about you, but I really do feel like Tom Sturridge personifies Morpheus in terms of his looks here. So, just imagine him with the makeup and possible CGI star eyes, but like the hair, the very paleness to already everything that he's got in his natural face structure. I think he's going to be spot on. I really do feel like his bone structure, if you will, just really does resemble that of Dream. Like, seriously, like, where are you? Where are you? There he is. There he is. Look at him. Okay, that's just going to be blurry, but you know what I mean. Next up on this casting news Twitter thread, NX on Netflix say that Dream will be joined by Vivian. I cannot pronounce that. I do not want to butcher it, so I'm not going to even attempt it. As Lucienne, chief librarian and trusted guardian of Dream's realm. Now, what Neil had to say following this announcement immediately on his Twitter page is that one of his favorite changes from the Sandman comic is that our Lucienne has become Lucienne, and Vivian brings the wise librarian of dreams to pointy-eared life. I like how they've kind of stylized these images, by the way. I mean, I know they've been filming, so they technically could have given us a little bit of a, I don't know, a still from a scene, which would have been amazing. And I'll get into more of that in a second. But for now, we've just got these kind of headshots, I suppose, with the casting announcements. But up next, Charles Dance is Rodrick Burgess, charlatan, blackmailer, and magician. Now, we all know what Roderick is like in the story. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think, well, I mean, it's up to the personal interpretation. But considering we've got Charles Dance here, and the roles that he's played, yes, I'm going to say it, Game of Thrones, I feel like him being Roderick, with what he does and how that kind of turns out, I feel like there's nobody else better to play him that I could think of. So I'm very happy with that. I feel like Charles really does engulf these sinister roles and kind of old, kind of wise at the same time personalities that I feel like Roderick will encompass in the show. But yeah, I need to stop kind of fanboying out here. Next up, we have Asim Chowdhury is Abel, and Sanjeev Bhaskar is Cain, the first victim and the first Predator. Now, once again, I can't be crystal clear in my mind right now from the top of my head if I've seen absolutely everyone in something. It might be the situation of where I have, but I can't place the name to the show or the movie I've seen. But those are certainly some very interesting castings there. But very interestingly as well, we've got Boyd Holbrook. Now, that's a name I think most people will know, especially in the comic book realm of things, is the Corinthian, an escaped nightmare. Now, whether that's Logan or whatever else you've seen him in, I'm very happy with this casting in particular. As I said, definitely check out my What We Know So Far About the series, because I go over the character descriptions, for example, the Corinthian here, and I think it's fairly accurate. Supernaturally handsome, the Corinthian exudes style, sex, wit, and predatory wrongness. A nightmare come to life, but one you can't keep your eyes off. Embodies humanity's darkest, most sadistic, homicidal impulses when they are not bound by compassion, empathy, and love. Originally created by Dream, the Corinthian is determined to thwart his maker at every turn. So yeah, like if you want more of those details, that will be in this video appearing on screen. I'll link that in the top pinned comment or the description down below. What Neil had to say about Boyd being the Corinthian is that, for those wondering how I can tell, is something about the eyes. Now lastly, I very much so recognize Gwendoline Christie. She is Lucifer, ruler of hell. Now, this is very, 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 very interesting. I am very personally on board with this. Now, I know I've got a very strong feeling that people could be like, but why? Lucifer's a man, so why did you gender bend? It's kind of like, why not? I do get it at the same time. I think when there's a status quo, I was talking about this with people. When there's a status quo of a character, you're used to that character being a certain person or gender, right? So when you flip it, I can understand why some people scratch their head. I don't think anyone needs to overreact to it, but I guess each to their own, if that's your opinion. But personally, the reason why I love this is because I feel like Gwendoline Christie. Did you know like the angels from Constantine, the one with Keanu Reeves? I feel like she reminds me of, was it, what freaking angel was it? I can't remember, but you're probably seeing it on screen right now. I feel like Gwendoline Christie really does embody the look of an angel. And not only that, what a gender-flipped Lucifer would look like. Her blonde hair, her face structure, just everything. And with what we've seen her in before, whether it's Game of Thrones or other roles, she has demonstrated her acting chops to a T. And she is very, very good, and I think she's going to play Lucifer very, very interestingly. I think she can be very stern, very serious when it requires it to be so, and very emotional. I have absolute 100% faith in Gwendoline Christie as Lucifer, the ruler of hell, and I cannot wait. I'm trusting that the show will do the scenes where Morpheus / Dream goes to hell to talk to Lucifer, and I can't wait to see that interaction. Especially, I can't think of a time, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but I don't remember Lucifer being gender bent at all. Because I remember, this is another thing as well, I think a lot of fans will have wanted Tom Ellis to be Lucifer in this show, but I've spoke about this before. Don't forget that Lucifer is an adaptation on Lucifer, I suppose, but the show very much so went its own direction, and that show, whilst how popular Tom Ellis is as Lucifer, doesn't mean that they're going to grab him from that universe and put him into this new own canon world that they're doing with Netflix's The Sandman. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Ellis as Lucifer as well, but I'm absolutely fine with him not being Lucifer in Netflix's The Sandman, and I think this is a bold and interesting choice, and I would love to know if you're on board with it. As I said, I really do feel like if you look at Gwendoline Christie, look up any images of her, GIFs, videos, whatever, and you see the blonde there, and just compare it to the comics and everything, I feel like she truly is what a female Lucifer would be. Now, you may notice something, and I think this is something I think we all really wanted to hear about, especially with how long the wheels have been turning. We haven't heard about death in all of this. And also, with what I was saying earlier, I kind of expected, I do get it, if you always have too much expectations, you can kind of set yourself up for failure, but with how long, as I said, they've been going, I expected maybe some kind of poster, maybe a first look at Dream, because they have been filming for a while, maybe even a still. They could have easily done that, but I think they really do want to keep it completely under wraps until they're ready, which I'm absolutely fine with. I'm perfectly happy being patient. We've already been patient for this casting information, but I'm okay with being even more patient with just how much quality they want to put into this until they're ready to show it. Even if that is just a simple in-costume still of Dream being trapped, or maybe Gwendoline Christie as Lucifer in hell on his throne. I mean, I don't know. That would have been awesome, but we'll get it when we get it. But going back to specifically Death, you would have thought, considering she's literally in the graphic novel quite early on, that they would have revealed the casting for her. So I guess she would have been casted, but apparently they're not comfortable releasing it, or maybe they're saving those scenes until a later date, and they're only just getting around to casting her, or maybe they already have. I don't know. It's kind of strange how they haven't revealed Death, but obviously they have a reason as to why they haven't wanted to reveal that name, and I'm very fascinated to know what that is, but we're going to have to wait and see. They did say they have more to come soon, but I guess us fans are going to have to be a little bit more patient. The same applies to Delirium and other aspects of the show, but I would love to know what you thought of the official casting. I personally am very happy with it. I'm going to have to look into some more than others to get a real grip of what they're like in certain shows and movies, because, you know, transparently, I don't actually know of every single one there, but I have faith in the casting of this show. Don't forget that this is kind of like a modern era Sandman, because as Neil Gaiman himself has said, is that what we're doing with Netflix is saying, okay, it's still going to start in 1916, but the thing that happens in Sandman 1, the point the story starts, is not 1988, it's now. And how does that change the story? What does that give us? What does that make us have to look at that we wouldn't have had to look at if we were setting it as a period piece? What is that going to do to the gender of characters? What is that going to do to the nature of characters? What is that going to do to the story? And that has been an absolute delight, because it means that we're always being true to the story and true to the characters, but it gives us tremendous freedom to go, okay, if we're doing it now, what would Sandman be? And that, again, is very liberating. So it was even giving us clues back then with what that do to genders. It's like, oh, bang, Lucifer is now Gwendoline Christie. So yeah, expect some more interesting information in the coming months. Obviously, subscribe to this channel. I promise not all videos are as fanboy and rambly as this. I was just very excited to get the casting information out there. Very pumped for this to actually come to fruition. But I would, yeah, once again, would love to know your thoughts, and just make sure you do check out my previous video where I break down even more details, things like the character breakdown and descriptions for the very cast that you saw in today's video. But other than that, like this video if you did enjoy it, and make sure you check out the links below, my Discord server, my Twitter, where you can follow me, where I tweet about things each and every day most of the time. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you fellow Endless in the next video. Goodbye.